Shiva Puranam, Rudra Samhita, Parvati Khanda, Chapter 37, Dispatch of the Letter of Engagement and other connected celebrations. Narada said, O dear wise father, what did Himalaya do after the departure of the seven sages? You kindly tell me. Brahma said, O excellent sage, after the departure of the sages with Arundhati, the performance of Himalaya is being stated by me. Thereafter, Himalaya, inviting his sons and the brothers like Meru and others, felt delighted. Delightfully, he made his priest Garga to write down the Lagna Patrika and send the same to Shiva, together with fruits, fried eatables, besides the sweets, with a pleasant heart. The carriers of the sweets, etc., reaching Kailasa, met Shiva and handed him over the letter of engagement, with fruits and sweets, etc., performing the tilakam of Shiva. Shiva also honored them appropriately, and then they all returned to Himalaya with pleasure. When Himalaya came to know that his people who went to Shiva were immensely honored, he was very much pleased. Thereafter, he sent the invitation letters pleasantly to his relatives in his country. Then he collected several types of eatables suiting to the occasion of the marriage. The mountainous masses of rice, beaten rice, jaggery, sugar candies, and salt were collected in heaps. He caused huge tanks and receptacles built for the storage of ghee, curd, as well as fried flour cakes of barley and other grains, and the ball-like sweets. Big tanks and receptacles were made for the nectar, sugarcane juice, baked cakes, and the sugar candies. Tanks were built for the storage of butter, spirituous beverages, sweet juice of various kinds, besides the various kinds of rice preparations. In addition, various types of pickles and side dishes were prepared, which might be to the likes of the Ganas of Shiva and the gods. Various types of valuable costumes purified in fire were kept ready. Gems and jewels of various kinds, besides the gold, silver, and other articles, were also duly collected. Himalaya started the auspicious rites during the auspicious Muhurta. The mountain damsels then started decorating Parvati with cosmetics. The damsels themselves, adorned with all the ornaments, started the welfare ceremonies. The wives of the Brahmanas also joined the welfare ceremonies. Himalaya, too, joined the welfare ceremonies according to the local traditions. Himalaya was pleased at the arrival of his relations. In the meantime, he also invited his other relations as well. All of them arrived with their sons, wives, servants, and others. O celestial sage, listen to a detailed narration of the arrival of those mountains. I am narrating the story in brief in order to please Shiva. The great mountain, known by the name of Devalaya, taking to a divine form, decorating the body with several of the precious gems, arrived with his wife and his people, carrying several of the jewels and the gems. The graceful Mandarachala, clad in beautiful costumes, arrived in the house of Himalaya with his wife and sons. Ashtachala, having divine wisdom and benevolent mind, carrying several types of the best of presents, arrived there. Udayachala, possessing enormous glory, arrived there carrying enormous gems and valuable jewels. The highly comfortable mountain of Malaya and having the best of kinsmen reached there respectfully. The mountain named Durdara, with a pleasant mind, accompanied with the huge army, and his wife arrived there. O dear one, the Nishada mountain, variously decorated, arrived there with a delightful heart in the abode of Himalaya. The lord of Gandhamadana mountain, also accompanied with his wife and sons, arrived in the abode of Himalaya. The mountain Karavira, carrying several types of riches, reached there. Besides, Mahendra, the king of mountains, also arrived at the invitation of Himalaya. The Pariyatra, the Pariyatra mountain, accompanied with his wife, son, and the servants, also arrived there. Krauncha, the king of mountains, accompanied with his family, the servants, and army, also arrived in the abode of Himalaya. A mountain named Purushottama, carrying several types of presents, respectfully arrived in the house of Himalaya. The Blue Mountain, accompanied with his son and wife, carrying enormous riches, arrived in the house of Himalaya. In addition to the above, the mountains Trikuta, Chitrakuta, Venkata, Srigiri, Gokamukha also arrived in the house of Himalaya. Vindhyachala, the king of mountains, carrying delightfully many presents, arrived there with his wife and sons. The great mountain named Kalanjara, feeling extremely pleased, arrived in the house of Himalaya with several of his gunners. Kailasa, the lord of mountains, also with a pleasant mind, showering his grace on all reached there. All of them were delighted. All of them were the family deities of those mountains. O Narada, such of the mountain which were located in other islands, all of them reached the abode of Himalaya. O sage, all the mountains which had been invited by Himalaya delightfully reached there to witness the marriage of Shiva and Parvati. At that point of time, Sonabhadra and other rivers also arrived there lovingly in order to witness the marriage of Shiva and Shiva. All the other rivers, taking to the divine forms, arrived there to observe the marriage of Shiva and Shiva. The rivers like Godavari, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Triveni also arrived there to witness the marriage of Shiva and Shiva in the abode of Himalaya. The river Ganga, having been adorned with all the ornaments, taking to an excellent form, arrived to participate in the marriage of Shiva and Shiva. The rivers like Narmada, Mahamoda, Rudrakanya, Saridvara, adorning themselves with the best of ornaments, lovingly arrived to attend the marriage of Shiva and Shiva. With the arrival of the invitees from all the four quarters, the graceful Himapuri was crowded from all the sides. The enthusiasm prevailed all round in the city, which was decorated with the flags and the toranas. Because of the pitching of tents for the invitees, the sunshine had been faded out and the glamour of the city was increased. Himalaya also on his part honored the guests and invitees who had arrived in his abode. Separate arrangements had been made for the lodging of each one of them. They were fully satisfied with a supply of all the essential commodities. इति श्री शिव महापुराणे द्वितीयायां रुद्र संहितायां तृतीये पार्वती खंडे लग्न पत्र संप्रेषण सामग्री संग्रह शैलागमन वर्णनं नाम सप्तत्रिंशोऽध्यायः. Chapter 38. Description of the mandapa. Brahma said, O excellent sage, thereafter Himalaya, the lord of the mountains, celebrated a huge festival in the city. The water was sprinkled over all the sides of the roads. The roads were decorated on both the sides with the trunks of the banana and other trees, decorating them at the same time. The pillars were erected in the courtyard, which were covered with the silken cloth. The mango leaves decorated all the sides. The toranas were decorated with jasmine flowers beside other auspicious materials. In this way, the Lord of the Mountains made all the arrangements for the pleasure of his daughter. Thereafter, the material for adoration was procured before the immensely influential Garga, the royal priest. Then he summoned Vishwakarma and made him build a beautiful and vast mandapa with a beautiful altar in the center. O Narada, the divine sage, the canopy was spread in an area of 10,000 yojanas with numerous auspicious symbols and looked astonishing. The mandapa was equally pleasant both for the mobile and immobile beings and looked beautiful from all the sides. The mobile objects displayed their excellent glory, while the immobile one surpassed the mobile one in excellence. The watery places excelled the beauty of the solid ground. Even the experts could not distinguish between water and the ground. At places, the images of artificial lions were placed. At places, there were the lines of cranes, while at places, the artificial peacocks attracted the minds of the people. At places, one could find artificial images of women dancers dancing with artificial men casting wistful glances at them and enchanting them. In this way, the beautiful images of gatekeepers had been installed at the entrance gates, carrying the boughs in their hands. These images of the gatekeepers looked like the real ones. The images of Mahalakshmi, possessing all the auspicious symbols, appeared as if she had just emerged out of the ocean of milk. The images of elephants appeared attractive, decorated with ornaments like the real ones. Similarly, the horses appeared charming with the horse riders, while the elephants so appeared with the elephant riders. The images of the chariots driven by the charioteers looked quite surprising. The images of the foot soldiers had also been beautifully made. O sage, all these images had been made by Vishwakarma delightfully in order to give a surprise to the gods and the sages. O sage, the statue of Nandi at the portals of crystalline beauty and brilliance appeared like a prototype of the real Nandi. Above Nandi was the divine Pushpaka plain decorated with sprouts and was shining with a fly whisks. To the left were two elephants, as if having been born in the country of Kashmiri. They had 4 tusks each. They were of 60 years of age, possessing immense luster, and were intoxicated. Similarly, the images of 2 horses decorated with fly whisks, having the resplendence of the sun and adorned with ornaments, were also made. The Lokapalas were adorned with the best of kavachas and the gems. The gods too were shown in the images in a realistic manner. The images of Bhrigu and other ascetics, besides the Siddhas, gods, were also made. The image of Lord Vishnu had been made in a surprising manner, together with his attendants and Garuda. Narada was shown reciting the Vedas. My image also was there in the company of my sons. Indra, resembling the full moon, was shown with his family mounted over the elephant Airavata. What else could be stated, O divine sage? With the inspiration of the Himalaya, Vishwakarma had projected the entire community of gods in the paintings and sculptures. Thus Vishwakarma built the divine mandapa, which attracted the minds of the gods, reflecting several acharyas as well. Thereafter, Giriraja Himalaya commanded the competent architect Vishwakarma to build the houses for the dwelling of the gods, resembling their respective abodes in their own lokas. Those houses were provided with the high, neat, and clean beds by Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma built the 7 lokas for the residence of Brahma in a moment, which were quite resplendent. Similarly, he created a new Vaikuntha, a brilliant abode of Vishnu with wonderful features. Vishwakarma also built the house for Indra with many surprises as well as the fortunes. Similarly, he also built beautiful and the vast houses for the Lokapalas. He also built the mansions for other gods of various kinds, which were quite beautiful. Vishwakarma, who had achieved boon from Shiva and who was immensely learned, made a beautiful house in order to please Shiva in a moment. Similarly, he also built an abode for Shiva, which was quite surprising and had the symbols like small double drum, trident, etc. in the Shiva Loka. This type of the astonishing construction work, which was well illumined, was undertaken by Vishwakarma for the pleasure of Shiva. Thus, observing all the worldly formalities, Himalaya delightfully waited for the arrival of Shiva with the marriage party. O divine sage, thus I have narrated the blissful story of Himalaya to you. Now, you tell me what more do you intend to listen from me? Iti Sri Shiva Mahapurane Dvitiyayang Rudra Samhitayang Tritiye Parvati Khande Mandapadi Rachana Varnanang Namashtatrinshadhyayah. Chapter 39. Arrival of the gods at Kailasa and departure of the marriage party of Shiva. Narada said, O dear one, O destiny, O immensely learned one, O disciple of Vishnu, O ocean of mercy, you have narrated the astonishing story to me. Now I would like to listen to the auspicious event of the marriage of Shiva, which bestows welfare. What did Lord Shiva, after receiving the Lagna Patrika, do? Now you narrate the same story. Brahma said, O intelligent son, listen to the great fame of Shiva. After receiving the letter of Himalaya, what did Shiva do? You better listen from me. Lord Shiva, after receiving that letter, honored all those persons who had carried the letter to the Lord. After the letter was read, the date of marriage was appropriately accepted, and those people were given a respectful and a hearty send off. Then Shiva prayed to the sages, You have performed pretty well. All of you should attend my marriage, since I have accepted this marriage. This is what Shiva told those sages who had arrived with the letter. Listening to these words of Shiva, the sages were delighted. They, offering their salutation to Shiva and circumambulating him, returned praising their fortunes. O sage, Shiva, the Lord of the gods, performs many sports together with the gods, following the worldly traditions, and you yourself, quite lovingly praising your fortunes, arrived there with all humility. Lowering your head, you offered your salutation to the Lord with folded hands. Then you offered prayer to him, shouting slogans of victory to the Lord. O sage, thereafter praising and eulogizing the Lord, you sought permission from Shiva to return. Displaying the worldly behavior and heightening your pleasure with sweet speech, the delighted Shiva pleasantly said to you. Shiva said, O excellent sage, you listen from me today. I speak to you because you are the foremost of my devotees and quite dear to me. At your command, Parvati performed severe tapas for me. Getting delighted, I have promised to be her husband. I am subservient to her devotion. Therefore, I am going to marry her. The Saptarshis have fixed the date of marriage. O Narada, the marriage will be performed just after a week. I shall celebrate the marriage following the worldly tradition. Brahma said, O dear one, listening to the words of Shiva, the Supreme Soul, feeling delighted, you bowed in reverence to the Lord and said, Narada said, "This is your vrata, that you always remain subservient to your devotees. You have acted appropriately according to the desire of Parvati. O Lord, taking me as your humble servant, you kindly get me your command for any service I am fit for." Brahma said, "O excellent sage, after you thus spoke to Shiva, Lord Shiva, who is well disposed towards his devotees, delightfully spoke to you with respect. Shiva said, O sage, you on my behalf invite Vishnu and other gods besides the sages, the Siddhas, and all others located in all the four quarters. At my command, all of them should arrive with their wives and children well decorated. Those of the gods who would not attend my marriage ceremony, I shall not consider such gods as my own. This is sure." Brahma said, listening to the pleasing words of Shiva, you accepted his command, moved at once, and communicated the invitation to all. O Narada, then performing the function of a messenger, you delivered the message to all. Coming back, you took your seat with his permission. Shiva too was anxiously waiting for the return of Narada, while dancing with his ganas. At the same time, Lord Vishnu, together with his entire family, arrived there suitably dressed. He, together with Lakshmi and his family members, offered his salutation to Lord Shiva. All of them took their seats with the permission of the Lord. I also reached Kailasa with my ganas. I took my seat, bowing in reverence to Shiva. Indra and the other Lokapalas also arrived there with their wives and sons well dressed. The sages, the Nagas, Siddhas, Gandharvas, and other people also arrived with pleasure after receiving the invitation. Shiva welcomed delightfully all the gods and others severally. A surprising type of festival was organized over Kailasa, in which the divine damsels performed the dance. A sage, O sage, Vishnu and other gods who had arrived there had come to participate in the marriage party of Shiva. All of them had been invited by Shiva and inspired by me. All of them engaged themselves in the service of Shiva. The seven mothers, Saptamatrikas, engaged themselves in decorating Shiva appropriately. O excellent sage, at the desire of Shiva, he was decorated with his natural attire and ornaments. The crescent moon decorated the head. His third eye looked like the tilakam. O sage, two snakes appeared as ear ornaments or as gem-studded kundalas. The serpents coiled over the other limbs appeared like the ornaments studded with gems. The ashes mixed with sandal paste were applied over his body like the cosmetics. The elephant skin as well as the tiger skin were like the excellent silken garments for him. At that point of time, Shiva looked quite charming and his beauty was beyond description. At that time, Shiva appeared as possessing all the fortunes. Then all the gods, Danavas, serpents, birds, apsaras, and the sages, getting fully pleased and belonging to the side of the god's bride, came close to Shiva and said, all of them said, O Maheshwara, O Mahadeva, you kindly show your grace on us by marrying Girija. Then Vishnu, bowing in reverence to Shiva, delightfully spoke the words befitting the occasion. Vishnu said, O God of gods, O Mahadeva, dear to those taking refuge with you, you perform the tasks of your devotees, you listen to my words. O Shiva, according to the method prescribed in the Grihya Sutras, you perform your marriage with the daughter of Himalaya. O Shiva, when you perform this, the marriage appropriately, then this tradition would be established everywhere. O Lord, according to your own traditional dharma, you first established the mandapa, performed the Nandimukha Shraddha, with devotion and establish your fame in the world. Brahma said, when Shiva, the Parameshwara, was so addressed by Vishnu, then Shiva, who was the follower of the worldly traditions, did so. Shiva entrusted the responsibility of performing all the rites to me, which I respectfully carried out with the help of the sages. The sages like Kashyapa, Atri, Vasishtha, Gautama, Bhaguri, Kanva, Brihaspati, Shakti, Jamadagni, Parashara, Markandeya, the great sage, Shilapaka, Arunapala, Akratashrama, Agastya, Chavana, Garga, Shilada, Dadhichi, Upamanyu, Bharadwaja, Akradvrana, Pippalada, Kushika, Kautsa, and Vyasa with his disciples, having been aspired by me, besides other ascetics, reached before Shiva, and they performed all the ceremonies concerning the marriage. The rishis, well versed in the Vedas and other connected literature, following the Vedic traditions, performed the safety rites of Shiva and tied the safety thread around his wrist. Reciting the hymns from the Rig Veda, Sama Veda, and Yajur Veda, besides various stotras from the Puranas, the sages performed the auspicious rites. To ward off the obstructions, the adoration of the planets was performed under my instructions. They worshipped the gods lodged in the altar. After appropriately performing the social and Vedic rites, Shiva was pleased and delightfully bowed in reverence to the Brahmanas. The Lord of all, Shiva, started from the excellent mountain Kailasa, keeping the Brahmanas and the gods ahead. Crossing the mountain Kailasa, Shiva stopped for a while along with the gods and the Brahmanas, receiving different ovations. At the point of time, the gods resorted to singing and dancing in order to please Shiva. Iti Shri Shiva Mahapurane Dvitiyayang Rudra Samhitayang Tritiye Parvati Khande Deva Nimantrana Devagamana Shiva Yatra Varnanang Namaikona Chatvarinshadhyayah.